the Eradicator.
Welcome to the stream, guys. It's the Rad, and today, well, I'm trying to play Star Citizen. As you can see, I'm stuck here, so probably we'll exit to the menu, and oh, it's stuck even more, right? So, since we are stuck, why not watching Inside Star Citizen? It's Friday here in Taiwan, so we got a brand new episode about missions, which are broken as well. Yesterday, nothing was working in 3.18, but let's see what the future is going to be when it works a little bit better.
On to the normal business of Inside Star Citizen this week. We wanted to take a moment and recognize and acknowledge what's currently happening with the live gameplay experience. Obviously, anyone that's been following the project for any period of time knows that running a live gameplay environment throughout the process of development is an unusual, sometimes trying, but often rewarding experience.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not just the tremendous work of our developers that make this possible. It's also the continuing commitment of you, our players, that allow us to test things at scale. Because it's often easy to forget that with the hype and excitement of a new release, that every level of Star Citizen is a development and testing platform, even the live alpha. Now, even knowing that the launch of Alpha 3.18 was going to be rougher than normal, I think it's fair and safe to say that we were all hoping for a somewhat smoother experience than the one that you have been finding the last week.
Oh, poor Jared. He has to do the PR. He has to do the PR work here. I feel bad for him, but yeah, I can tell he must feel that it kind of sucks.
Now, while I'm going to continue pointing you to the amazing efforts of our platform team, the player experience team, and especially the community team in updating you on the continuing progress through the website and socials, because quite frankly, they're far more plugged into those things than I am and will have much better information than I ever will.
It would be great to have an episode of Inside Star Citizen about what happened with the release of 3.18 with some insight and reasons as of why things were broken and how they fix it. I would actually be genuinely interested in an episode like that.
Did feel it was important to acknowledge the current state of things at the top of this show, whose story was set weeks and months before. I said it on SCO, and I'll say it again here. We don't just share in the victories with each and every one of you. We're often right there with you with the same thoughts and the same feelings about our disappointments. We're sorry for the rough launch, but I hope you can see the determination and the dedication of those people working to improve things.
Well, let's see. Let's see if we can see. Hey, I'm back in the menu. So yeah, I guess we'll try it out again later. All right.
In the improvements that are being made each and every day this week, and will continue until we get things where we want them to be. So with that said,
it's true. It has improved a little bit since the past weekend. Now, it would be interesting to see how it is going to be proceeding throughout this weekend, right?
Let's get started with this week's show.
All right.
Since the launch of the Persistent Universe in December 2015, mission gameplay has been at the center of the Star Citizen experience. Whether that's doing someone a favor and investigating a few ICC probes, delivering an
yeah, I like the meme, right? Who does the ICC probes, right? Let me know in the comment section down below on YouTube. Do you ever take those ICC probe missions for 2.5 thousand Alpha UEC?
an important package from one planet to the next, or infiltrating a gang of would-be ne'er-do-wells in efforts to keep Stanton safe, missions often push players forward into areas they might not otherwise have discovered and pull them deep into the scandalous underbelly of the star system. And over the years, through the work of the mission feature team, missions have continued to evolve into a modular system that allows for designers anywhere in any studio to create missions not in the weeks and months of 2015, but in the mere days of 2023.
Wow, now that is very impressive. Creating the procedural tools so that just like when they create planets with procedural tools, just like when they create stations with procedural tools or derelict outposts, now they are able to create missions, content for the game for us to do within a couple of days. That is progress. Now, when is this going to transpire, right? When is this going to be something that we will see ourselves in the game? Perhaps they will say, maybe we're starting with 3.19, maybe starting, with various patches of 3.18. Let's figure it out.
So on this week's Inside Star Citizen, let's learn a bit more about how that modular system works,
Flot
the
notch study.
technical complexities that make it possible, and take a peek at some of the new modules currently in development for
Okay.
Alpha 3.19 and beyond.
Oh, there you go, 3.19. And it's already the middle of March. Soon it will be the end of March, so the end of Q1 2023. 3.19 is the patch for Q2 2023, so it should be coming out by the month of June, by the end of June. So it's going to come real soon.
Go ahead, you can do it.
I can do it.
Missions matter. No, mission
there's
modules. Elliot Maltby.
Mission modules, you're at scene 5.
Mission modules, Lars, scene 5. Always wanted to do that.
So, multitude of missions. What are we looking at here? Looks like... Is that a wreck? Yeah, it looks like a little wreck here with a box to pick up. I've never seen this wreck before. I don't know what ship that is.
At the very beginning, the early days, everyone was just coming up with missions, right?
What we used to have to do is have a bespoke mission for every mission we had.
Someone might have built it to act this way, and then another person might have built it to act this way, but in a completely different way.
So one person would start like a delivery mission, would have to write it from beginning to end, and then some other person would write a bounty mission from beginning to end, and then another delivery mission, again, from beginning to end.
Which is basically what they did with some of the early mission. If you guys remember the Alien Ward mission, that investigation mission where we had to we have to go to Kovalex, and there's also some voice acting, right? It's one of those prototype missions. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of those. It would be great if we could, but it seems that that's not the direction that they're taking with those procedural missions.
And the problem with that
There you go.
situation was that everyone wrote their scripts differently.
Each mission, while might have similarities, every bit of logic was different in some way.
We are a game that constantly evolves, that constantly gets updated, so
that's why they cannot afford to have so many missions that are different from one another, because then they have to update those missions to make them work, and they have to do it one by one, which could perhaps explain why we've seen some of those old content that we haven't seen in a while that has disappeared and might never come back. Maybe you guys remember some of the old escort missions where we don't see them anymore. Some of the old patrol missions that we had in the Staten system, we don't see them anymore as well. All of those are gone. Obviously, we can also think of the Tessa Bannister missions, which we saw in Alpha 2.x. That could perhaps be another example of what they were talking about.
things break sometimes.
We used to get bugs back, which was like, oh, that when we enter the action
What's this?
area for this mission, this happens, but it wouldn't happen on the other one, even though they're functionally doing the same thing.
Everything was built in a different way, and so everything also needed to be fixed individually.
It was a lot of reworking and redoing and over again, and eventually that could not be scaled up anymore.
In a game like Star Citizen, where we really want to populate the entire universe with missions, we can't really do that. We have to come up with a different solution.
We don't need all these people working on all these things all over the place if we can have more of a unified approach towards it.
Yes, okay, that
That's
sounds like
where
a
mission
smart
modules
way
come
to,
in.
to run things here. I know Flot Notch, right? That was really funny. So
So
that's
the
where they're
answer
going
to
to do
this,
the
to
modules
fix all
here.
of those issues, is a more modular system. This is where we identify key
I
functions.
like Elliot. This guy is a really smart guy. Every time we see him and we see his ideas that he is implementing into the game, he's always adding some value to the final product, and I really like this kid.
Functionality between missions and plug them all together and make it all operate under one module. This means that when we get a bug, it is likely that every other mission will experience this bug.
They will experience the same bug, yes, right? So that's and we don't want to have different bugs for different missions, right? We want those bugs to be gone.
and we can fix it. So we have modules and submodules and
I love
submodules,
videos.
and there is no end to that. You can keep putting them inside of each other. But on the high level, we have what are called wrapper modules. So some of the different wrapper modules are like delivery missions.
Hashtag
Your typical
bugs.
delivery mission is pick up a box and then deliver the box in another location, which has certain variations.
So we have ones that are called multi-stop, which are
Yeah, okay, so these are the multi-subs, which are those that you eventually get to have access to when you improve your
essentially,
reputation.
here's 5 boxes, here's the pickup locations, and here's all the drop-off locations. The player can
5
decide in what
boxes,
order
that would
they
be a lot.
want. There are the linear wrapper module, which is we give you one box and you have to deliver that before we then give you the next box.
Infiltrate and
nice.
Defend has like various subtypes and different variations.
Now, there's one type of mission that I would like to come back. Those are the interplanetary delivery missions, which we haven't seen for a long time. I don't know why, but I really miss those as well. You know, you pick up a couple of boxes from the Crusader area, you drop them off around, air like Hurston or ArcCorp, and you get more money. And I really like those different missions, but it's true that maybe the reason why we don't see those missions anymore is because they have too many bugs.
That we can use depending on what the mission wants to achieve.
You've got eliminate all missions, or you've got eliminate specific missions, or even an eliminate boss mission where players must neutralize the grunts first, and then afterwards, a boss shows up, and that's the eliminate target.
And those are all the
Nice.
submodules of the infiltrate and defend type, and we're still making more. Then there's the bounty hunting modules.
Our bounty missions are quite well known. The most
Oh, look at that! In the caves. Are we gonna have missions in those new caves start finally in
basic
1919?
version is you accept a contract. It tells you where the bounty
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go back there. Is that no? That is that's Microtech. I thought that it was a mission on Crusader, right? No, that's
contract.
Microtech.
It tells you where the bounty is. You travel there and you take it out, which then can be modified in like several variations.
It consists of distinct assassinations. It's the group bounties where you have 3 different bounties at different locations you have
Wow,
to get to
including
and
an
kill.
Idris.
It's the Idris event where you have to go and kill an Idris with potentially multiple people you don't know. And when the ability to capture people comes online, we'll add even more modules to help support this.
That's so funny. Look at the face.
So what we're working on now is
Yeah, we definitely
resource
need
collection
the
missions. That
capture-
includes salvage and mining
Capture
missions.
mechanics.
We're
yeah.
even going to be adding classic things like someone wants 40 pieces of wheat and you have to go and find that and bring that back to them.
Yes. So that's basically cargo hauling. Please bring cargo hauling.
All of these things we're looking into investigating, hopefully you'll see soon. No Reddit, that's just an example. We're not actually going to collect wheat.
Weeds. They have way too much fun making those videos. This is so hilarious, right? Modules within modules.
So let's dive deeper into submodules and let's use one that looks relatively simple. The delivery module. The delivery module uses a wrapper called the multi-stop delivery. So when that fires, that starts something called the initialized delivery loop. The initialized delivery loop reads parameters that designers give us, say how many boxes they want
Okay.
to be delivered. For this example, let's say 3. So those 3 boxes would start 3 individual round deliveries. Now a round delivery will care and track the progress of a singular box and its journey from point A to point B.
Okay.
So then after that round delivery has booted up and it has all the information, that then goes, right, now I need to start the first part of it, which is the pickup part. So it starts the pick up or drop off module, which then will check what has a designer specified to me. Does the designer care where this is spawned? Do they want it at a locker? Do they want it at an item port? If they don't, it will choose randomly.
How about, now there's another thing that seems to be overlooked every time we talk about delivery mission. How about a clerk? You know, we have those clerks all over the place, at stations, at outposts, and we never interact with them anymore. I would love to see those NPCs, the clerk NPCs, have an actual function again, so that we could have something to do with them again. They're cool, they were here since the very beginning, and I think that they're being pretty useless right now. I would like to interact with them as well.
So let's say they go, okay, I want it to be picked up from a item port, which is essentially what you know as a shelf. The item is spawned on a shelf and it sits there waiting.
An
When the
item
player
pod is
interacts
a
with
shelf.
the item and picks it up, it sends a callback back to the pickup or drop off and say, this item has been retrieved. The pickup or drop off goes, my job's complete, let me tell the round delivery. The round delivery then goes, okay, thank you for that information. I can now start the drop-off process because the box that I had been told to pick up has been picked up.
That's basically what
It
we
will
have
then
right
say,
now, isn't it?
I'm going to boot the pick-up or drop-off again, but this time it will specify the drop-off process. Once again, taking into account anything that the designer specified if they want it dropped off in a locker or at a shelving unit again.
Okay, but how is that different from what we have right now? I don't really get it.
Say this time it's a locker, then what happens is it will boot up a completely different module of the delivery locker. Then that will send the request to the delivery locker and say, hey, delivery locker, you're going to expect X item from X person. The delivery locker then waits. When you put it in the delivery locker will verify that the item is the one that was actually asked for you to be delivered. And then it will once again send an event back up to the pickup or drop off going, hey, I've got the right item. That'll go, cool, thank you. Send that up to the round delivery. The round delivery will
And then
go,
the payment,
well, that's
perhaps?
my box gone. I finished. I'm going to send this up to the initialized delivery loop. The initialized delivery loop goes, that's 1 out of 3 now delivered. It will then repeat this process for the other 2 boxes that can be done in any order.
What
And
is
when that
this?
completes all over together, the initialized delivery loop will go, cool, all of my things have been finished. I'm going to send it up to the multi-stop. The multi-stop will then go, that's my mission over. Complete, you get your money, and it's as simple as that. The reason we set this up like this is because it allows us to quickly plug pieces in. For example, the prison mission had to expand on the delivery system.
What are they doing? Seriously, I mean, it's funny, but I would like those episodes to be a little bit more serious and straight to the point, right? Basically, you're feeding Nubifier. These guys are they are giving Nubifier content so that he can make these videos in 2 minutes in his channel. That's basically what's
To allow
happening
you
here.
to pick up from a corpse and drop off to a satellite as a
Oh, wait,
sort of
that's in
upload
prison
function.
here,
What this
okay.
means is we didn't have
Prison
to create
delivery.
another delivery module to do that specific process. We created 2 ending modules of pick up corpse and upload data. Those live at the end, so after the pickup or drop off has run its course, it would just pick those 2, which means we don't have to add specific functionality to the entire module all over. It only has to be at the end.
Okay, so what Elliot has presented here is an early simplified version of the modular system for delivery missions presented in a single uninterrupted unrehearsed take. He clearly left a bunch of stuff out, so the system should not be considered as simplistic as presented here. It's not simplistic at all. It sounds so complicated. But hey, if it works,
So I guess you
then
really
that's-
want to hear
that's all
about
that
some of the new
matters, right?
stuff. So
Yeah.
let's talk about salvage modules. The salvage module is currently a singular module, and what we have done is allowed for a bunch of functionality.
The most simple version is you get the contract in your
Oh, we're looking at the salvage missions here. Now, that is exciting here. Let's have a look at what. So, this placeholder. Rights to a new salvage claim are available for purchase. Exclusive access to the ship's verified coordinates in the monitored space will be provided upon confirmed credit transfer. The coordinates will remain accessible as long as the accepted contract is active. That's going to be around Crew L1. Is there going to be some adagio, perhaps? That's going to be for the reputation, right? Good evening, Mr. Axis. How's it going, buddy? So that's going to be the... And this perhaps could explain why we don't see all those big clusters of wrecks anymore around Crew L1, because they want to be keeping those for the missions that will be coming up. And then when you'll be taking those missions, that's where you will have a ton of wrecks to find and salvage, perhaps.
Moby Glass given by a company that has salvage rights. You accept mission in a Moby Glass, and then it's going to give you a piece of salvage, and it says, well, we have a piece of salvage for you, and it's located at this Lagrange point.
The player is shown a location where
Okay.
a shipwreck can be found. So they make their way there, and it could
What
be
do we have? We have 2 ships here. Is that a Mantis? And also a Constellation. And that's it. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. I hope it's going to be worth the I hope it's going to be worth the money
that.
paid.
Another NPC is there salvaging already.
Oh. Oh, how is that another NPC salvaging already? That's a Mantis. That Mantis is not going to salvage anything.
Or you could have an illegal variant of the mission where you have to go there and
Aha! Now let's look at the illegal version here from Tar Pits. We've got a ship that's right for salvaging. We're too busy to snag it ourselves, so why not spread the wealth, right? If you send some credits, we'll send you to the ship's location. Don't take too long to think it over, though. You've probably got about time a minute until security gets there to check out the wreck. Could be more, could be less. If you're fast enough, you can get in, get your haul, and get without a shot fired. Not a bad deal, right? Okay, so that means that these illegal missions will trigger security eventually, which could get you in trouble. So you may not want to be doing that, right? How is the PU today, Axis? Well, I'm back in the menu. Oh, there's Star Marine right there. So that's how the PU is right now. I tried it a little bit, and I decided to kill myself, and it sent me back to Lorville, which was not my spawn point, so I don't know. We'll try it later, after we finish inside Star Citizen.
And salvage everything quickly before another player that has the contract legally shows up.
But there's going to be a timer on screen of whenever.
Oh, I see. So first the illegal mission, then the legal mission.
The legal owner of that salvage going to appear, which can end up in enemies arriving because he calls them in. We've made several submodules that allow to
It's
work
so
with
funny
it.
to see those
So the
vultures
first
fight.
one is spawn ship waves. So it's going to be a wave-based module that allows the designer to define what the waves are like exactly, and then they show up. And
Can you believe you're really gonna have to need a crew with that reclaimer when you do those missions, because they're gonna be coming in with NPC waves. How are you going to defend yourself against waves as an NPC in a vulture? But in the reclaimer, with a lot of turrets that are pretty big, actually, you'll be able to
another
do that.
module that we've been making that we're actually quite proud of is a chicken ship module.
Chicken
and that's a
ship?
ship that shows up and then is either going to attack you or try to run away. And if you scare it off by either damaging it or taking too long, it's going to try and jump away. And if
Oh,
it does so,
nice.
then it allows the designer to define what's going to happen then. So the most basic version would be he's going to call in his friends. They come in, and then all of a sudden it's not you and a vulture against another vulture. It's going to be you against a retaliator bomber and 4 arrows, and you're in trouble. Now, the other option is like, okay, if you destroy it, then what happens? So we have the option of like a Carrack arrives because the company is like, well, we haven't heard from Bob in an hour. We're going to send like someone else to do the salvage, but maybe
Carrack,
something
that would be
happened to him.
nice.
We're going to send something bigger. Or you basically warded off the defenders and you're now safe to salvage at your own leisure.
This kind of modular approach will
It's gonna
allow
make
other
salvage quite
designers
dangerous.
to come up with whatever they want when it comes to building missions. There could be a number of possibilities. It is only limited by their imagination. All of these sort of modifiers and options
I'm
are
really liking
there
those
to sort
upcoming
of
salvage
allow
missions.
us to
They really
create
seem quite exciting.
different types of gameplay or different experiences.
It's not
with
just about
very
salvaging,
little
it's going to be also
changing of the
defending
logic.
yourself.
It's a lot of just changing different
Love this.
properties on a what's called a mission record.
Another mission module that we're working on that hasn't been revealed yet is
Ah.
package extraction. So it's a mission where the Ninetales have taken over another Crusader platform, and they have gotten
Those Crusader platforms, they're so vulnerable to Ninetales, right? So that is a package pickup here. It's basically what we have with the retrieval OPs.
their hands on some highly valuable Crusader prototype ship components. So Crusader really wants them back before they fall into the wrong hands. And as a result, they put out a contract, and many players all around Crusader are tasked with going to that platform and handing it to the Ninetales, essentially getting back the prototype ship components before they can be flown off-world.
One thing we've been playing with
So
is
it's
that
basically
we
a
hooked
Siege
up
of
to the
Horizon
bounty
V2.
modules that already exist. So we would fire a bounty module where the player goes to a location, they kill a ship, and then we kick off a salvage module, all in one mission. So the player goes there, kills the ship, and then instantly their objectives are like, and now harvest it. And then that's the completion of the mission. So at the moment,
So how can you do that if you do not have? How can you complete this mission if you don't have a ship for salvaging? That's a bit strange, right? Hey, yo, Solar Dashes, you want a prototype for yourself?
mining missions are on pause while we wait for resources from other teams, but in the meantime, we will continue to develop salvage missions, mining missions, and the overall scope of resource collection missions. So, you know, you could hopefully see your wildest imagination of resource collecting missions come true. A reasonable expectation of resource collection missions in the future.
I like how they're trolling
So the
us.
biggest
It's
virtue of
interesting.
this is it allows other designers like Guillaume from Montreal or Sam from the EU locations
No,
team
it's
to go
Guillaume.
in and be able to
Oh.
piece together their own custom mission.
It was a
We
little
just
bug
send them,
here with
once the mission
pronunciation.
module is finished, all the questions that they need to fill in for this.
Their designer can go to Data
Oh.
Fudge, select a mission, modify a few properties that will change the
Wow, that
behavior of
looks
the
like a
mission,
huge
whether
screen.
it's the type of box they're delivering or what enemy they want you to kill. All of these modules are intended to be stitched together.
Did you see
in
the reward?
Easy
like,
ways
1
to be able
million
to
for
create
UEC.
completely new bits of content so that the content expansion can be huge.
And this is really important for when you try to build a game of the scale of Star Citizen.
They could build a mission where you go to a location to do an eliminate all, and as you're arriving there, there's a bounty target in the sky you have to take out first. As you go in and manage to kill them all, they use the item dispenser we use in Jump Town and Korea to spawn an item that when the player picks it up, it then starts a delivery mission.
That's the real win of thinking modularly.
Okay, so basically it's a mix of different types of missions coming up together.
So
thanks
that
to
was
modularity.
a little look behind the scenes of what we do in the mission feature team.
The mission feature team consists of more than just the people you see here. We have a much bigger team that are building these behind the scenes to be able to bring you this new content, these new functionalities,
So it's
and
coming to
also
a 3.19.
help our designers internally to be able to also deliver the same thing.
This is only a fraction of things we have worked on and are working on. Obviously, as more systems come online, we are going to start making more and more
He's going
modules.
to be talking
Salvage
as well
and
about
mining
the,
were the most recent
resource
ones.
management system, perhaps.
And we've worked on those. Crafting is coming soon, so we're
crafting. So are we gonna have crafting missions also?
going to probably make some modules with that.
And we're going to continue to make more and more
Crafting
mission
missions.
modules and more things for you to play and enjoy.
Thank you very much for letting
Can you imagine? We got a crafting mission. Go there, craft a multi-tool, deliver it at this place. Boom, get the money. That would be very cool as well.
us tell you what we do. We're hopefully making everything you like, and yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know what else.
all right, cool. I think that's pretty much the
Thanks
end
very much
of
for
the
watching, and
episode
I'll see you in
here.
the next episode of Inside Star Citizen.
You won't see. Oh, not in the next episode.
You're not in the next episode. All right, guys. Well, that's basically it for this ISC crafting missions coming up, guys. Almost confirmed. So, back in the menu here. Let's get back into a... Oh, look at that. Only 9 people in this server. That looks like a fresh server. Let's go in.